Are their messages to the American people on our country's historic anniversary.
I, William Jefferson Clinton.
It's a time-honored tradition, 250 years strong.
I, George Walker Bush, do solemnly swear.
The American people electing their leaders.
I, Barack Hussein Obama.
Presidents, an indelible mark on our nation's history.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear.
Serving their country, the highest office in the land. Hi, Dad. What's it like to be part of the ex-president club?
Well, it can be boring when we're all together. No, it's an honor. There's a great camaraderie because we all shared something special.
Our nation's leaders each carrying the weight of those promises and the ideals of our founding fathers. There's a weight of the presidency that few can understand.
You understand it.
I understand it.
I found that people were ready to help. I was a senator for a long time, been in that building a lot of times.
Yes.
36 years I was a senator, and then 8 years as vice president. And it was an opportunity to be able to focus on the things that I thought needed to happen.
What was your favorite part about being the president?
You get to meet the widest possible cross-section of the American people. You know, every corner of this country is just full of really amazing, hardworking, decent people, and getting that broad overview of who we are as Americans, it made me much less cynical. It made me less prone to think there's an us and a they.
For some, that inspiration came from the very place they would one day call home, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. At 16 years old, you walked into the White House and met then President JFK. What did that moment do to inspire a 16-year-old kid from Hope, Arkansas, to want a life in service?
It had a huge impression on me. It made me realize that a president, even on a bad day, can do something good for somebody. Mm-hmm. That's what I took out of it. I just couldn't believe he was spending all that time with us. Everybody says when you become president that they remember it, blah, blah, blah. And that I knew when I was standing in the Rose Garden that I was going to be there someday. That's just not true.
You couldn't have even imagined it at 16.
I thought I wanted to be a United States Senator from Arkansas. I did dream of doing that. I never dreamed I'd be president.
What were you most grateful for about the experience of being president of the United States?
Well, I guess it was the greatest honor of my life, or any American's life. The idea that a kid from Scranton, Pennsylvania, we weren't poor, but we're a middle-class guy, could, who used to have a stutter, could end up being president of the United States. It's just kind of a story of what America's all about.
These formers, as they are called, remembered for leading our country through some of our greatest challenges. What do you think was the most historically significant moment of your presidency?
9/11.
I can hear you. The rest of the world hears you.
I think historians will analyze that day, America's response after that day. It was a reminder that the human condition elsewhere matters to the security of this country. It mattered then, and it now matters now, by the way. But I think people want to know how the country responded, and it was overwhelming volunteerism, starting with the military. It was an outpouring of patriotism. We can recapture that. I hope it doesn't require a crisis, but it's still latent in the American soul.
Your presidency was a historic one. You were the first Black president of our country. What do you think the history books are going to look back and say?
It's very hard for us to judge our place in history. That's up to other people. Mm-hmm. I can speak about what an extraordinary honor it was to serve the American people. Mm-hmm. I can speak to how inspired I was to hear the stories of folks out there who were doing wonderful things in their communities, helping each other out, being good neighbors. Maybe one thing I am proud of is the fact that I think we upheld the integrity and the honor of the office, and how we conducted ourselves and how we ran our administration.
What are you most grateful for all your years of service and your time as president?
I am grateful that I had a chance to do what President Kennedy said everyone should want to do, to make maximum use of the talents God gave me, and to do it in a way that benefited other people. You know, you can get up every day, no matter how bad it is, you can make something good happen for somebody. And that is a gift beyond imagining.
How do you hope the history books see your service?
Well, I hope it's not unlike I see your dad's and your grandfather's service, as generated by making sure everybody got a shot. My dad used to say, "Look, Joey, everyone's entitled to a shot. No guarantee. Everyone's entitled to a shot, a guarantee."
250 years later,
It's one small step for man.
a nation tested
I have a dream.
and a democracy that endures. You ran on a simple yet effective principle, which was hope.
Yeah.
Do you still feel that hope in our country?
I do. The first time I was on the national stage and I talked about hope,
Hope in the face of difficulty.
I reminded people hope is not blind optimism.
The audacity of hope.
Hope arises in the face of difficulty, in the face of uncertainty. And obviously we're going through some uncertain times. But when you look at the sweep of American history, we've gone through rough patches. And we tend to come out on the other side of them stronger.
Family members can't sit across from one another and debate.
Well, we can.
We can.
Yeah.
And we have
Right.
for a long time.
Yes, we have.
But what can help us bring us back to each other?
Well, I think one of the things about the 250th is a chance to focus on the common good and the wonders of this country, the history of this country, the fact that you can worship freely without government tell you how to worship, the fact that you can speak in the public square without being jailed, the fact that we have a press that's willing to hold the powerful to account. I mean, these are all things that should and generally do unite us. I am not concerned about the long-term health of our country because I've studied enough history to know that we've been through the periods of intense anger and intense rivalry of ideas. But the beauty about democracy, Jen, is that it's self-correcting. And one of the key things I'm going to try to do during the 250th is encourage citizens to participate in the process. And if you don't like what's going on, vote. And that's how America heals itself.
I'm not sure we're as divided as we portrayed. I'm sure there's anywhere from 15 to 30% of the people who are on the one end here. But I think the vast majority of people are coming around to conclude that, you know, those things, so they don't even think about it directly, but the safeguards in the Constitution. I think people are beginning to realize they're sort of being trampled on right now. So I'm hopeful that people are going to begin to say, wait, we got to slow this thing up. We're coming to the 250th anniversary of the country, and for me, I think it reminds people that democracies depend on certain basic rules.
In 1993, when you became president, my grandfather left you a letter. What did that letter mean?
It meant the world because it basically said, we had a tough campaign. It's over. You won. And I wish you well because you're all our president now. And your success is America's and every American's. So I really wish you well. And then when your dad was elected, I wrote him a letter that said basically the same thing.
What do you think we can learn from that in this moment in history?
That America is bigger than anybody's personal hopes and dreams.
For the American people, sometimes it's the smallest gestures that have the biggest impact.
I get a little antsy, as I'm sure you know. And I was sitting next to Michelle. That's what happened. That's who I sit next to at funerals. And I was kind of teasing her and stuff, and I slipped her an Altoid. Not as a joke, but I thought she might want one. And I got in the car afterwards, and you said, "You're trending." I didn't know what trending meant. And it turns out the country is starved to see a white center-right Republican and a African-American center-left Democrat having fun and being able to converse, not as political figures, but as citizens. And I intend to continue to try to do that.
Our next chapter filled with the same passion and determination on all sides to hold close to the principles that built America and made her strong. As we're celebrating 250 years of our democracy, what message do you have to Americans?
Remember what's best in us. The basic principle upon which this country was founded, which is we don't have rulers, we don't have kings or monarchs or aristocracies, we have citizens. And if we hold true to that idea, that we the people have been gifted this chance of self-government, if we pay attention to our responsibilities and our duties, and if we extend respect and thoughtfulness to our fellow citizens, even if we disagree with them, if we understand that part of this democratic project is to sort through our differences in peaceful, legal ways, then I'm confident that we're going to have another 250-year run that's going to be just as good.
The country will survive as much by the process, by the freedom to speak, by the freedom to vote, by the freedom to be active in politics, as by any particular issue. And because it's like it is, compromise is essential.
We're the most unique country in the world. The most unique country in the world in the sense that we really do think democracy is dictated by the rules of the Constitution. And we do believe, and we act, and when we do well, that all men are created equal.
My message is consider yourself fortunate to be a part of a great nation. Study our history so you have a better sense for what the future will be like. And be a citizen, not a spectator. And by that, I mean participate in the process, but also love a neighbor like you'd like to be loved yourself. See, one of the beauties of this country is that there are thousands and thousands of citizens who volunteer on a daily basis to help somebody in need. They're often not heralded, but they make a huge difference, one person at a time. And I would hope people will take a look at our history and realize we're an imperfect nation trying to be more perfect, but be optimistic about the future of the country.
Hear, hear.
What a great conversation.
It really, what an honor. I realized when I was flying home, I've interviewed each of them. I know you all have too, but to get to be with them all on one day, they have different beliefs, different thoughts, they've served differently. But, to hear them all say, I have hope in our country. Yeah. Yes. I'm optimistic. My dad did say we didn't have time in that documentary to put this in, but he did say he was going to they're all going to be together for President Obama's library opening later this summer. And he said he was going to bring Mrs. Obama a crate of Altoids.
I love that moment. Dad said a lot of good things, but that really resonated with me because I remember that moment with him and Michelle, and it was so needed just watching them.
But he's right, that starvation for it.
It also shouldn't be trending.
Yes,
it shouldn't be the unusual thing.
No.
It should be something that common courtesy. But this 250 years and a conversation like that is a gift because it gives perspective, and that is so vanishingly rare. So thank you, Jenna. You did a beautiful job.
Also, we were all at the history talks. We were in one room, and they were coming back to back, and we had this moment where President Clinton and President Biden Biden were together, which was great, you know, because we also don't often get to see them together.
There it is right there.
So it was really nice to see.
They had a meet cute at your interview location.
Exactly.
It was also, it was refreshing to hear just how optimistic all of them were and still are about the next 250 years.
We live in a really special country.
But a clarion call, too, to all of us citizens.
Yeah,
you know,
to pay attention.
Exactly.
Does your dad know about trending now?
No, he still doesn't. I told him he was trending when he also had that poncho over him.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
How does he not have a deal with Altoids?
I know.
You guys, we should mention the History Talks event traditionally features former presidents, you know, obviously to talk about their legacies. And we should know that the History Channel is also working with President Trump on an America 250 project, which they plan to announce later this spring.